Just so I could say I can't give you 10.5, but I can give you 0 with a balloon. And for 126,000, I could probably do a 3-year balloon, correct?
120. Yeah, you can do a 1 to 3 year balloon on that.
So should I present them and say I could do 15,000 down and a 3-year balloon, but I can't offer a 10.5% interest rate?
Yeah. That's when you can tell them, hey, I'm willing to negotiate. You know, I've got some wiggle room on the terms, but what you're asking for eliminates any reason to buy the property. It takes away all the cash flow. So here's what I can do. And then present the offer, say, hey, I can do this like you wanted. We can do this instead of this. And then as far as the monthly payment, we need to figure something out.
All right.
And then
Thank you so much.
go back, no problem. And then just go back and forth and figure it out. And if it works, great. But if it doesn't, 1.5 million properties listed. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
No problem. All right. So we got a little bit of not a rough start, but a weirder start. I started the recording a few minutes later, but that's okay. So this is going to be an open forum Q&A to start. I will be answering your questions until you guys don't have any anymore. At the end of you guys having questions or needing help underwriting deals or whatever you guys need help with, I'm going to go through some real estate agent objections that I get or things that they say that, and basically help you interpret those and how to respond to them. So with that being said, does anyone have a deal that they need help underwriting or would like to go over?
Okay. Yeah, well, I thought I had one, and then I really don't know what this guy is asking for. I think he got money from like a hard money lender at like 21% interest.
Oof.
Yeah. And, I told him that, the house, I can get it for, I think Deal Sniper even said 315. So I told him 315. He said, okay. And I told him I could give him 30,000 down to help him cover some of that cost to get that loan paid down. And then $1,000 a month, which it still cash flows. But then the problem is he says, well, I've got this loan at 21%, which costs me $2,300 a month. That's without taxes and insurance.
Oh.
And
we can run it. I have no problem putting that deal in, but
I've already run it. I think it comes out without taxes and insurance comes out to -17. But he still wants me to send an offer letter for what I told him before, and then he also wanted proof of cash. And I said, I think somebody in the group said that they could get that for us, no problem.
Well, I would be very careful. I must have missed that in the main chat. I must have been doing a one-on-one or something. I would be very careful using someone else's or a fraudulent proof of funds, because as of the 1st of this year, the National Association of Realtors or National Realtor Association, I never can remember which way it goes. That's been such a problem with fake that they're actually coming after people and prosecuting. Like you go to jail.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do that. Let me ask you this. Is this an on-market or off-market property?
This one is on market. However, he's got another one, and I don't know if we have hard money lenders, but this house is probably going to be worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 600, 700,000 once they get finished with it. And he's, willing to let it go for like 4.5. Says it'll probably rent on this thing. It's got 4 sides to it. So he said the rent's probably going to be about 5,000 a month. And
what kind of rehab does he need?
If you want to get into it now, then I'll give it to you. But they haven't even started construction on it. But if we can find a hard money lender and it makes sense, this guy's ready to go for it.
Okay. That might be something to look into. We'd have to look at all the numbers and run everything, and that would involve giving me the address. So let's do that on a one-on-one, so that way I can send you that video so nobody can see the address.
Okay, I got you.
So we can, if you want to schedule that with me I'm booked up tonight, but you can schedule with me sometime tomorrow afternoon and just DM me and I'll shoot you a link and we'll knock it out.
Okay. Sounds good.
As that was the weirdest message. Hold on one second. I just saw a weird, all bold message come through. I have no scam or BS leads for sale in any state. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
I don't, what does that mean?
Somebody's trying to sell you some leads, Miro.
All right. Anyway, anyway, yeah. As far as the first deal is concerned, if it's on market, are you dealing with the seller directly or the real estate agent?
It's the guy that actually flipped the house.
Okay.
So
it's the seller
he's
directly.
acting as the real estate agent.
Okay.
But he's not getting necessarily a commission. He just needs to get this house off his
Sold.
hands.
What's the balance of the mortgage that he has for the private money loan he did?
Hold on just a second. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to use the straw.
Okay.
Weird wet.
So the mortgage balance is 210,000.
And what's he selling it for?
315.
Oh yeah, he's just trying to get that'd be a straight sub two, but that interest rate it kills it. There's no way. You couldn't even sell that to what'll it rent for?
He's got rented out month to month right now for 1750.
Okay, so yeah, he couldn't even get the rent to cover the mortgage. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see how you can help him.
No.
I don't see it. And it sucks. That's a shitty position to be in because he does not have a whole lot of options. The only thing that he might be able to do, he could refinance the house. And even if it's just a rate change, get at a lower interest rate, which would drastically lower that monthly payment. And then he'd be making money on the rental at the very least.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could sub to it after that because he would have a decent interest rate, which would be a decent monthly payment where someone could cash flow. But the way that is right now, I don't think there's any way you can help him. And that sucks because I hate not helping people. But he's in too bad.
I don't know why in the world you would take a loan at 210,000 at 20% interest.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because when whether he's just getting into flipping houses or he's seasoned, and it's probably him being seasoned, especially if he's listening to things himself. Once you've done flips and you feel like you're good at it, then it's just rinse and repeat every time, until that one time where you're thinking, oh, this will be business as usual. I'll sell it. No big deal. And then something happens and then now you can't sell it. And now you're stuck. And that's how you're in the situation he's in right there. So, I mean, it's possible. I mean, the first flip I ever did, I thought it was going to be being in wholesaling. I've been around flippers for years, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. And if there's nothing I can't do. Anyway, I priced the thing out, priced the rehab. I was set to, when I flipped this thing, I was set to make like 30 grand. I made $600, $620, something like that. That was my profit from the flip. Because I got into the house, I walked it, but I'm not a contractor. It was my first time. Stuff that I should have priced out at $50 a square foot. I priced it at 20, 25. I'm like, oh yeah, I got an extra $5,000 built with this. We're fine. I thought the rehab was going to be close to $25,000, $30,000. I ended up spending $65,000.
Damn.
So it can happen if there had one other bad thing happen to that property, which by the time we had done everything that needed to be done, it was damn near a brand new house. But if one more thing had gone wrong, I'd be in the same situation as this guy. I'd be upside down.
Yeah. Well,
now,
and he's already got an offer right now, and he said he got it today, but he wanted to give me a chance to go first. He said he got an offer for like 265.
Build rapport with him and tell him the truth. Say, hey man, I could try and get you an offer. I can try and make this thing work, but it's not going to, and I don't want to waste your time. You've been through enough with this property. If you've got an offer, I think you should take it. And then in any other property you want to sell in the future, I'd love to work with you, but I'm not going to disrespect you and waste your time by telling you that I may be able to get this done. It's not going to work for us.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I've already done with him. I told him, hey, if I can't make it work on this one, let's look at the next one.
Good for you.
And he said, okay, let's do it. So
awesome.
Okay.
Cool, man. Cool deal.
Nice.
Let's see who asks. How's it? Oh, Munir, what's up, dude?
Hey, sorry to keep bothering you, but about the 10.5%.
I'm here to teach, dude.
Yeah, about the 10.5 interest rate. I don't think it's worth seller financing the home because it's distressed. Is what I'm trying to say. The outside needs work. That's fine, right? If the outside needs work, or only the inside.
It depends. If you could hire or have your cousins or your nephews, depending your brothers, depending on how old you are, come to the house and you guys can knock out whatever needs to be done in a weekend, like with one trip to Home Depot, then yeah, you're okay.
Oh, definitely not.
If the landscaping is jacked up or they've got a bunch of trash and garbage and leftover fridges and washer and dryers, and for some reason 5 water heaters, because you didn't just throw them away. I'm talking about the flip that I did. Sorry, I brought up bad memories. Then no, it absolutely matters if the outside is messed up, because that's thousands of dollars that the investor is going to have to spend before they can get a tenant in there, which is going to affect
Okay, let's just say that the bottom of the house, like near the ground, it's like breaking apart.
Yeah, I would move on. That's foundational issues. You don't want none of that.
Okay, great, thanks.
No problem. All right, who else has a question or a deal that they need help with? If not, then I'm going to go over to the realtor responses until someone thinks of another question.
Hey, Sean.
What's up?
Do you like doing flips? Because I heard that's like a headache. Unless you know the right people, like a good contractor and all that. But other than that, like trying to do it is just a headache.
I would say, hold on, because there's a debate going on now. Okay. Here's what I'll say. Here's what we unanimously agreed on. If you're going to get into real estate, meaning like you're going to get your own portfolio, I highly recommend, whether you're planning on doing flips or you're planning on doing just buy and hold, just have rentals, short-term, long-term, mid-term, doesn't matter. I would say it's probably a good idea to do a small flip first. I would say that that's a good idea if you're planning on your career is going to be real estate. Here's why. I was not a contractor on that first flip that I did. I didn't know anything about contracting. You know what I mean? I wanted to climb a building that was being put together in New York. That's as close to construction as I've ever gotten to. Now that I've done a flip, and I've done 3 total in my entire career. I've done 3 flips. The first one, hell on earth. Second one, smooth as silk. The third one, even smoother, right? And the reason why the second 2 were so smooth is because I already did it once. I experienced everything terrible that could happen, so I knew what to look out for on the other ones. It translates a little, unless you want to be one of those super hands, like my dad. My dad is very hands-off when it comes to properties, and because he's got some properties, but he doesn't want to talk to tenants. He doesn't want to deal with anything. He doesn't want to do rehab. He's a property management guy. He doesn't want to do a damn thing. Send me my money and everything else you guys take care of. So if you want to be like that, you can probably skip a flip. But if you're like, you know what, I'm going to get properties in my area, I might self-manage them for a while so I can save some money every single month. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a flip first. I think that's a good idea, because you can see the difference between doing a flip for ARV, for a flip, like that kind of rehab, versus doing a rehab for a rental. Those are very different things. You can make a rental look absolutely beautiful for $25, $30 a square foot, as opposed to trying to sell a house or flip it. Now you're doing $45, $50 a square foot. Why is that? Well, because when you're flipping the property, you want to sell it for at least the ARV or more. You're trying to get as much as you can out of this property. So you're going to put better shit in it. You're going to put nicer cabinets, nicer fixtures, better appliances, nicer flooring. You're going to buy the expensive paint instead of just the paint that you would put in a rental. Even though the paint in a rental is absolutely fine for someone who's renting. But if someone's going to spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in a property they're going to live in, they want the top of the line paint. They're going to notice. So if your house has a top of the line paint, it's going to attract more people. It's damn near the opposite for a rental. If I want to make one of my rentals super nice, I'll call my contractor and he'll go down there, but he's going to make it rental super nice. And the reason why it's rental super nice is because we all understand that no matter how good your tenants are, super clean, they take care of the property like it's their own. Anything that breaks, anything that gets damaged, it's still your responsibility because it's not their home, it's yours. You're just renting it to them. So, and when they move out, you're going to have to rehab it again anyway. You're going to have to turn the property. Now, depending on how clean or well they take care of the property will determine how good of a flip or how good of a rehab you're going to do. But you still have to do it in order to get a new tenant in there so you can justify charging whatever that market rent is. You can't have a crappy place and then charge the top of rent. Nobody's going to pay for it. So if you want to have nicer rent, nicer tenants, you have to have a nicer place, but it doesn't cost you as much.
I feel like, bro, when it comes to like flips, I feel like there's so much that can go wrong.
There is. My boiler exploded in one of mine.
Like so much can go wrong. Like all these other added expenses could just pop up, and now your profit margins are not as high as you expected.
Yep, that's exactly what happened on my first one. See, I live in a place with a lot of extreme weather because I'm weird, and the place where I did the flip was in a place that gets very cold, and I didn't have a lot of experience with the cold at the time. Not that kind of cold, like snow and stuff. Before that I'd never seen snow, so I didn't know that you have to drain a boiler if the property is vacant. So here we are. We've already had 2-3 disasters happen on this property to the point where we had to rip off an entire mud room. Like, it was terrible. And we're finally just about done. They're doing finishing touches. They've got like 2 weeks and then we can put it on the market. It's all cold where this house was. I'm happy. I'm playing in the snow. I'm making snow angels. I get a phone call from the realtor. Hey, we have a problem. You need to get down to the house. I get down to the house, which, by the way, just tell me what the problem is. Don't make me drive all the way down there. I get down there because of the cold weather and the house being vacant. Boiler systems have water in them. Well, some of them have oil, but a lot of them have water. So what they do is they heat the water and then circulate it through the radiators in the house, the big metal things that are in the corner, and those things give off heat. That's how a boiler system works. Well, when it's cold and no one lives in the house to run the system, there's just water sitting in the pipes. When water freezes, it expands, and it exploded the boiler system. It looked like a grenade went off in that basement. I was actually thoroughly impressed by how destructive that explosion was. I almost wish I could have seen it. Not only did the boiler explode, but every radiator exploded. And to replace them, because this house was a little older, $5,000 a pop. There were 6 of them in the house.
Did you shed a tear?
I did a little more than that, and then but you know, that's one thing for anyone who didn't see, and I wish I remember who asked me for it, but that book that I posted in the Discord, if you guys haven't, it's only like 200 pages. I would give it a read, and it'll help you. I read that book a lot. I have very good, well, I think I have very good emotional detachment, meaning I could see something devastating happen, and I'm all brain. I'll have my emotions once, like 10-4, we're all clear. You know what I mean? Once I'm safe, crisis is done. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna go in the corner and lose my shit. So when that happened, I started to lose it a little bit. I remembered the book, calmed down, and then I thought to myself, okay, how much would it be to convert the system from a boiler to just a straight normal AC system, forced air? And that involves we had to rip out all the drywall that we put in. We had to rip it back out so that the technicians can get to the walls to install the vents for all the heat air to go through from the basement and all the bedrooms, all the house. Anyway, long story short, it ended up being $15,000, which was a lot cheaper than the boiler system. So that's what we ended up doing. Now, had I not had a clear head and thought about that, I probably would end up spending closer to $45,000. So read the book. It's a good book. But yeah, flips, you have to be very, very careful. Like to the point where Dispo will even ask investors that we aren't familiar with on a cash deal that needs a lot of rehab. They'll ask, hey, have you done flips before? Do you have a contractor going with you? Because here's what we don't want. We don't want to sell someone a deal. Now, luckily, the deal that I had the issue with on my flip, it was my deal. I'm the one that locked it up. So there's no one to be mad at. But I may have been a little upset at the wholesaler that sold me the deal because they didn't tell me how bad the property was. And here's the thing, wholesalers like you guys, I mean, some of you may be, but probably are not contractors. So you don't know either. So that's why we usually recommend on the dispo side, hey, if this is your first flip, or hey, this one's pretty bad, maybe bring your contractor with you. We'll say that. And you have no idea how many times they say, oh, really? Okay, thanks. I appreciate the heads up. At the very least, we're saving them time.
Yeah. How long does a flip take?
It depends on
average,
on how bad it is. A standard, like the one that says, just paint and carpets, that can take 2 weeks, maybe. If you're just changing out, even if you're changing all the I mean, assuming it's not a huge, 3,000 square foot house. But if it's, standard 1,500 square foot house, something like that, then yeah, you can absolutely just have that done in about 2.5, maybe 2.5 weeks. If you have to swap out a kitchen only, you don't have to do the floor and the painting, that can take about 2 weeks. But if you're doing that also, you have to do the floors and the painting and put in a kitchen. Now we're looking at 4.5, 5 weeks. Okay, now throw a bathroom in there. That's another week. And then on top of that, if it's a really bad rehab and you have to pull permits, then you have to do the work. So here's how it'll go. Wait, first of all, this is a long ass tangent I'm about to go on, and we usually do on market. Does anyone have a question about creative financing before I go off on a tangent on rehabbing a cash deal? Lloyd, Shannon, what's up?
Hi, Sean.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good. I've been working with a realtor. She has a property that is a year old. The seller purchased the home, lived in it maybe 2 weeks, got married, moved out. Now she's working on selling it. It was built in 2024. Everything's new. She only lived in it for a short time. She is open to creative finance.
Okay.
She's asking $85,000 for the home, $1,900 a month at 6%, for 5 years.
Okay. Is it a seller finance or a hybrid?
I think it's more of a hybrid.
Does she have a mortgage?
Yes.
Okay, so then yeah, it would definitely be a hybrid. Do you know what the mortgage balance is?
273.
And how much was she selling the house for originally?
285.
Oh, so that's a subject to. That's a sub
Okay.
two. Okay, so then, so did you explain it to her like a seller finance?
I think I did. I may have.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. Because when you call her, you're gonna say, what's her name?
Raquel.
You're gonna say, Raquel, I got some great news. Remember how we were gonna make it all complicated? Well, I found a much easier way we can do it. It's gonna be a lot cleaner and simpler. Watch. And then you just give her the offer. So you just spin it like it's a positive. So the mortgage balance you said was 280?
273.
273. Okay. All right. And what's the monthly payment?
I think it's at 1,400. I can't remember. Let me see.
I'll do the higher unless you confirm that it's lower. All right. And then do you know the interest rate?
6%.
Okay. And then she wants how much down?
15%.
15% down. Okay. I don't do math, so give me a second.
42,000? Yeah,
42,750.
42,750.
Okay. All right. And what'll it rent for?
About 19.
Okay. And is this on market?
Yes.
All right. And then are we paying realtor commissions?
Yes.
Okay. How much?
3%.
All right. So what is that? Like 8, 9 something?
Seven. I think it's 775. I mean 7,500.
Okay. All right. So what's the monthly payment again? I'm sorry.
19.
No, I'm sorry. The PITI. So it's 1,400, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what the deal looks like. And unfortunately, the deal doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't work in a couple of places. One, oh, yeah, well, that's okay. That's right. We don't have to do that. So, one, your entry fee percentage is pretty high.
Okay.
And that's because of the extremely high down payment, because usually we max that at 10%. And at 10% in this case, you want me to do it? Yeah. Would have been like $27,300 max.
Okay.
So this is, almost quite a bit more than that. And then the cash on cash return is only 3.9%. And that's only going to be giving about $2,500 a year in cash flow to the investor. And that only breaks out to about $215 a month. And the minimum needs to be about 300.
Okay.
Now, what you could do, well, actually, there's nothing you can do to make that work. The only thing you could do is make that work by negotiating a lower down payment. If we negotiate a lower down payment, then that will raise your cash on cash return, but it's not necessarily going to raise your cash flow. And the cash flow is the biggest issue.
Okay. So you say 10% down payment?
10% is usually our max for creative deals.
Okay.
So then if that were the case, if I did it exactly and did the max, even if I left the realtor commission in there, so your cash on cash return did go up a little bit, but your cash flow stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then your entry fee percentage went down, which is much better. But then again, your cash flow and your cash on cash return is too low to move it. You might be able to sell this to a homestead buyer, someone who wants to live in it, because essentially this property will rent out for $1,900, but you can sell it to someone for $1,400 a month for the, and they can own it.
Mm-hmm.
Financing is already in place. And the only thing that it would cost them, assuming you were able to get the down payment from 42,750 to 27,300, then you would only have to find someone that's got about $50,000 to put down, and then they can own a property for $500 less than if they were to rent the exact same thing.
Okay.
That's going to be your only exit strategy on that, or unless this thing works as a short-term rental. Does that help?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Kent, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I just heard you mention a book. I was just curious of what book you were talking about. You said it was in Discord somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Someone had asked me for it on one of my one-on-ones. It's called The Book of the Five Rings.
Okay. What's that all about?
I don't want to spoil too much for you, but basically it's about a samurai. This is nonfiction. It's about a samurai, a very great swordsman, had lots of duels to the death and didn't lose, and how he got to those points, what he did to get there. And that's not, I don't mean like training with a sword. I mean what he did mentally and emotionally to prepare for each fight that guaranteed victory for him. And a lot of the things that he talks about can 100% very easily be translated into what we do in all forms of business. So it's a very good read. And it's only like 200 pages. It's real short.
All right, cool. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem. All right. Who else has got a question or needs help with a deal? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through some of the messages that I get on Discord from real estate agents. And I want to do this more often. So even if you kind of know the answer or whatever, I have no problem with you guys continually to post the screenshots that you guys get from real estate agents. I have no problem with that, because the more everyone is exposed to the different variations of what people say, and then hearing how we or I answer, then it'll just get to the point where everyone will just understand and be able to interpret real estate agent language, which there's nothing bad about it. It's just kind of a different language. They have a couple of ways that they can say certain things. So before we do that, does anyone have one that they would like to go through? Oh, what's up, Ken?
I'm sorry, man. I just had one more question, a little unrelated to this, but I was just curious. I know you guys, you make your a lot of your money off the back end, right? Off dispo and stuff. But do you ever plan to do more dispo focused training? Or like, I don't even know. You said you guys used Investor Lift. Would you ever like kind of show how that's done? How you guys even use the Investor Lift software? Because I'm kind of curious to know how to use that.
I mean, obviously I could, but Investor Lift themselves has a video on YouTube basically breaking down everything. And obviously, because they're on the inside, they're going to be much better at showing it than I am. I can actually post that video for you guys. So you guys.
Is that what you mainly use though? Like you just like
I use Investor Lift. I use Investor Base. I use Facebook a lot. And then we also have we got a pretty decent size, multiple thousands of in-house buyers that we've just been working with for years and building relationships and cultivating.
Right.
So
just posting it on your buyers list and stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of deals, especially when I do the ones, the posting that has the yellow triangle with the exclamation point in the middle, and it's a new buyer announcement. Those buyers are people who, once we see the deal, then we're like, oh, you know what? Kent will take this one. Let me call him. Hey, Kent, I got a deal. It's in your neighborhood. I think you'll like it. I'm going to email it to you. I'm going to call you back in 10 minutes. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Wait 10 minutes. Call back. Kent, what'd you think? Yeah, I like it. I'll take it. Cool. Dispo done.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to post it at that point. Me and my team, we have meetings every other night for new deals that we get in on. All right, who are we sending this one to? And then if we don't have someone definite in mind that we think that'll take it, or if it's in a market that we don't have that kind of presence in, then we utilize Investor Lift, Investor Base, Facebook, and things like that.
So
and then just grunt work.
Those are like where the deals go to die, or when nobody else wants them.
No, not necessarily. It just means, like, I'll give you a good example. Let's say you are my go-to buyer in Texas, right, in Houston, and I get a deal under contract. I send it to you. You're like, hell yeah, I'll take that deal. You take it, and then I get another one the next day because I'm still working in Houston, or 3 days later, 5 days later, a week later, doesn't matter. Well, I just sold you one, so the chances of you buying another one, unless you're just that guy, are very low. So then I would use Investor Lift or Investor Base, and I would just go find another you in that area that I can go to when you're not available or don't want my deal. That's all.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool deal. I saw we had some people join. We've gone over underwriting deals. We are now in the Realtor section for what they say and how to respond. Does anyone who just joined need help underwriting a deal or anything like that?
Hi, Sean.
What's up, Leslie?
While you're on this subject, I need to tell you this morning. I'm sorry I text you that text. It's because I was in 3 meetings at once. This text I send you, I want you to read it and just tell me what you think on my the email, that what I said in that email. It's an agent that she's okay of working with me on creative finance, but she want, like, I have to give her all the response to the seller, like the counter offers and stuff like this. I tell her for each deal is different. It's not something I can just give her a response right away. You have to do the presentation first, and then when the owner asks questions, if you don't know it, you can come to me and I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was kind of skeptic. She probably I tell her, I wasn't trying to keep information from her. It's just because the way we operate, we talk to a lot of agents and deal are different.
No, that's the perfect answer. That's
Yeah,
absolutely the perfect answer. I just read your answer. You invited her to get on the phone so you can dive more deeply into it.
yeah.
And if
I tell her that apparently she's a new agent. She tell me she have her mentors. She gonna talk to her about it, and I tell her, well, put her on the phone with me, and I'll try to explain to her, you know, what I
yeah,
know,
we can
and
all
I
talk
tell
about
her, you know,
it. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
I think your answer, I think your email was absolutely fine. And if
all
you
right,
want to say it, if you want to ever say it in a shorter way, you can say, hey, you know what? It varies from deal to deal. But if you want to hop on the phone real quick, I can give you a quick breakdown. I mean,
yeah.
that's probably the most sincere and honest. And could you imagine trying to type out what's subject to seller finance?
Yeah,
I mean, no, get on the phone. Come here.
that's a
Give me two
book.
minutes. Yeah, give me 2 minutes. Let me talk to you. No, your answer's fine, dude. You're good.
All right. And I have another one that I'm waiting for her response. She's supposed to put about two offers for me.
Okay. Well done.
Yeah, so by tomorrow I'll give her a buzz and see where she at.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Keep me posted. Let me know if you need anything.
All right.
All right. So now what we're going to be doing is I'm just basically going to be reading off some of the screenshots that are posted in the main chat or some of the screenshots that I get. I'm not going to post them here because there's, addresses and people's phone numbers and stuff like that. But I'll read them off and then I'll interpret the answer and then I will tell you what I would say in response. And let me say this because some of this might get a little dry and I imagine some of you guys are going to hop off. Before you do that, if you want to talk to understand how to interpret, explain, or quantify what we're doing in an elegant, not an elegant way, but in a way that sounds like you know what you're talking about. Basically, if you want to sound like me, go to the cheat sheet and read it 1,000 times. Because anytime one of me has a good idea, like we say something like, damn, that was good, we put it in the cheat sheet. And do you know what I hear from people who tell me, hey, I said this, it worked? Yeah, no shit. So if you want to, even though you may not understand exactly how to interpret what the real estate agent is saying right away, once you understand what they are saying, which will come with time, that entire time before that, you could be cultivating your response. So take the words from the cheat sheet, read it, understand what it means. Ask me if you don't on any parts, I'll help you. Once you understand it, take those ideas and formulate a way that you would naturally say it. That's going to instantly make you sound more confident because you're not trying to sound like a shitty version of me. You're sounding like an awesome version of you. Your whole voice, your demeanor is going to change. You're not even going to realize it, but all of a sudden, people are going to start opening up to you a little bit more when you're explaining it. And that's because you're just going to sound and come off more confident. So, for anyone who wants to hop off on this next part, because it could be boring, read the cheat sheet. Read it. If you want to explain, hey, I got someone tell me, how do you explain that you're a wholesaler, but without just saying, I'm a wholesaler? Either the Y 0% answer or the POF answer, the first 3 or 4 sentences of each one of those basically easily and gently gets you into that conversation. That's how you explain. That's how you package it. Hold on. Who just said something? That sheet gets updated live, right? Yeah, yeah. So anytime I add something, I'll throw it in there.
Nice.
The last thing that I threw in the cheat sheet was the balloon ranges last month. So if you need a quick, hey, what do I do for the balloon? By the way, most of this stuff, including, as a matter of fact, before I go into the realtor stuff, does anyone really want to go into the realtor stuff, or do you want to go into the cheat sheet and the quick question guide on how to respond to people? Does anyone want, which one would you guys prefer?
Let's do the cheat sheet.
Okay, we got one for the cheat sheet. Anybody else? Okay, let's go through the cheat sheet. let's go through the quick question guide because all the cheat sheet stuff is there plus the extra stuff.
Hey, by the way, how do we get to the cheat sheet?
It's in the Discord on the left.
Okay.
It literally says cheat sheet for creative financing, I believe. Good question, guys. Okay. So I have this, and again, this is the same thing. If yours looks different, like if you had the cheat sheet from a month ago or even a couple of weeks ago, download a new copy because I've added stuff. This is the only thing that will not update, but I usually will post something at everyone. I just updated the quick question guide, and then you can download a new one. So,
question. Would you say about that? This is updated, this first tab?
no, but this whole sheet, this whole quick question guide is updated every time I think of something else to put on there that'll be beneficial.
The one that I have right now is not.
When did you download the one that you got right now?
I'm trying to find the Realtor. Oh, there we go. That's right. Realtor's up to 15. Okay, I'm good. Never mind.
Okay.
16. Yeah.
All right. So very common Realtor objections. We don't accept creative financing offers. There's your answer. Give me 1 second, guys. That is one of my team members, and I got to answer the phone when they call. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's another one. How do I know I'll get my commission? Commission is paid at closing, just like all the other terms, and it's going to be in the contract. Can the seller still buy another home? Yeah, we're paying the mortgage on time. DTI ratio depending on how the lender views it. So what that basically means is when you're doing like this is referring to a subject to or a hybrid when there's a mortgage in place. Once servicing has been set up and it's gone through the title and escrow company that we use, the third-party servicing company. Once that's set up, then it starts tallying the payments that are made on time. Once you get to about 6 months or 6 payments, then the DTI or debt to income ratio for the owner of that mortgage, the seller, they're no longer responsible. The creditors or lenders will see, oh, yes, they have a mortgage, but it's being serviced by this company. So that monthly payment that we would usually count against them for their mortgage, we don't count it. So the short answer is yes, they can. You can absolutely go buy another property. This sounds complicated. Will escrow handle it? Absolutely. If anyone's ever curious, we will use almost any title and escrow company that the seller wants. If that will make them more comfortable, sure. Here's what you need to do. Before you just, flat out say, oh yeah, 100% anyone, you need to make sure you have already had the conversation with the real estate agent that this property is going to be wholesale. There are some title and escrow companies that don't do wholesale deals. So if the real estate agent knows that you're a wholesaler, you've got a better chance of them not picking one of those title companies. And if they accidentally do, it's no big deal. You just call them and say, hey, I know you want to use this title company, but as you know, I'm wholesaling it, and this title company doesn't allow that. So can we pick a different one? You can pick it. It just has to be a different one. So yeah, and escrow handles everything just like a regular sale. So I won't go through every single one. I'll go through a couple for each one. So deal structure. How do I calculate my max net? Well, this is basically just our SOPs. So most of you guys know that already, unless you're new. Probably want to watch the video anyway. Okay, so this is if you're dealing with the seller directly. So this is going to be for off-market, FSBOs, expired listings, things like that. How long does it take? That's a good question because if it's an expired listing, they just had this shit under contract for probably 90, 120 days. So they want to know how long it is. Subject to, how to explain it. So again, this is why I say go through all of these because most of these, now granted, they're going to ask in a different way. It may be worded different. The terminology may be different, which is when the interpreting what real estate agents are saying. That's why that's important. But once you guys got that, the answers are right here. For those of you who want to dispo your own deals, which should be all of you at some point. Hold on a second. Got a question. Kent, what's up, dude?
I was wondering if you had any questions that reference the due on sale clause anywhere on here.
I don't, but you know what? I can add it right now.
One to add.
Deal structure.
Wouldn't that be one the realtor might ask a lot about?
Believe it or not, that doesn't come up very often. But not. I mean, it's going to come up.
Or
but
maybe the investor concern. Maybe you might want to let them know before they ask about it.
Here's how you're going to find out. And this one here is this isn't something you guys will say. This one that I'm typing. This is just for your own information. Unless that might be confusing. Don't laugh. I can't.
That come up a lot, honestly. Every time I talk about, the sub 2 low equity deals or actually just any kind of sub 2 deal.
Gotcha.
Realtors know about it or something. I don't know.
So there's the answer. For due on sale clauses, and this is in my experience, okay, and I'm also going to use the caveat most of the time. So there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. But in my experience, and most of the time, if it's an online bank, if they have a Rocket Mortgage, Lending Tree, or any of those online banks that popped up in the last few decades, and you try and do a subject to on that, they will absolutely call it due. I'm almost guaranteeing it. Almost. If they find out, they will call it due. For whatever reason, they don't like it. If it's a brick and mortar bank and the payments are being made on time, the bank's not going to call it due. They don't give a damn whose bank account or whose wallet the money is coming out of, as long as that payment is getting paid. Now, if they know or find out that you've done a subject to and the mortgage is being paid, they're not going to care. But if the mortgage is being late or they're having to make phone calls month after month after month, then they may probably call it due.
Can I add to that?
Huh?
Look, let me know if this is something like a solution. If that were to come up, could you just say, if it were to come up or they wanted to call it due, we have somebody on standby that would just do a double close and we would just.
I mean, if you have someone on standby that can do that, you can say that. But if you don't, then I wouldn't say that.
Right. Okay.
Here's what I would do. And let me tell you guys how do I find out if they have a online bank. Anytime you're doing a subject to or a hybrid where there's a mortgage involved, I guess if you're not dispoing the deal with me, you wouldn't know that. But on our disposition form, it literally says, if this is a subject to or a hybrid, you must submit the mortgage statement. And that's how you find out. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor. I don't need it right now. And you can tell the seller or your client, they can black out their personal information. I don't need any of that. But I am going to have to turn in a mortgage statement to title and escrow. So if you can get that over to me ASAP, I'd appreciate it. A lot of times you don't even have to go through all that. You can just be like, hey, I need a mortgage statement. And they'll just do it. But sometimes you're like, oh, well, it's going to have my name and all that. Well, so is the contract that you're going to sign. So I don't know why you're concerned. But we don't need their personal information. What we need visible on the mortgage statement is their loan number, their mortgage balance, their interest rate, and their monthly payment. If they want to block out the mailing address or any of the other information, go ahead. I don't care. But at the same time, serving another purpose, when you get the mortgage statement, it'll tell you right on the top what the mortgage company is. And if you see that it's a Lending Tree, a Rocket Mortgage, or an online bank, you can even take the name of the bank from the mortgage statement, Google it with the words due on sale clause, and it'll bring it up. If the bank is known for that, it'll say it. If it's not known for that, it won't say anything. And again, that's not foolproof. You don't know what the bank rep is going to do that day, but these are just guidelines. So what do you do if it is, oh crap, it's Lending Tree? Well, you just change the deal from a subject to a wrap. It's basically the exact same thing, but in the eyes of the bank or Lending Tree, it looks like a lease to own, which for whatever reason they don't call due on sale clauses on those. That's how you avoid it. But most of the time, if it's not an online bank, you're good. They're not going to call that due unless the buyer starts missing payments. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, and also insurance issues could probably call it due, right? If you don't set that up properly.
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess that's more dispo or something. Like if I heard like if you don't set the insurance up properly, like set that up with like the new owner, then that tends to call it due a lot of the times. Is that true?
I've never heard that being a trigger, but just because I've never heard of it doesn't mean it's not true. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything. I don't. Mostly, but not everything. So I've never heard it calling it due before. The way I understand it, I mean, at closing, the the escrow officer should be facilitating the transferring of the insurance from the original seller's name to the new buyer's name anyway. So I don't even see how that would come up. Maybe if you're not using a title of escrow company and you just try and like do the paperwork yourself, then yeah, I guess that's possible.
You're saying the online bank, they would tend to not call it due, or you wouldn't have to worry about?
No, the brick and mortar banks. That's the best way for me to explain it. Basically, the old school banks, the Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, the Washington Mutuals, any of those okay, put it this way: any bank that does more than just mortgages.
Okay.
Like you can't go to lendingtree.com and open a bank account and then they're going to send you a debit card. They just do mortgages. So if it's a bank that just does mortgages, they're probably going to call it due if they find out. But if it's a bank that does everything that banks do, you're good.
Well, if you ever come across that and you do need to double close, I do know a lot of transactional lenders. Just putting it out.
That is good to know. I will keep that in mind. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No problem.
Jason, what's up, man?
Hey, can you explain a wrap? I've heard it a couple times and I don't know exactly what it is.
Sure. Do you know what a subject to is?
Yeah.
Okay. So on a subject to, the investor pays for the taxes, the insurance, they get the tax write-off, they get the benefits, they get all that, right? So on a wrap, the investor does not. That's the difference. That's literally the difference. But technically what a wrap is you're taking, so let's say you have your seller or the property you're trying to get under contract. It's a $200,000 purchase price. You're going to do a straight subject to. They owe $190,000. You're going to give them 10 grand down, and then they're going to walk away. And you're going to take over the mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, the buyer gets to write the property off for the taxes. They get to do all that. A wrap, what we're going to do is we're going to take their existing terms. So the $190,000 mortgage, let's call it a 3% interest rate at $1,000 a month, just for easy numbers. A wrap basically is we're going to sell it to the investor. We're going to say, okay, well, it's $190,000. You're going to pay $210 because of our assignment fee. They don't know that, but your purchase price is $210. Your down payment is $20. So your seller financing amount is the same, $190,000. And instead of 3%, you're going to pay 4% or 3.5% or 3.25%, just something a little bit more. And then because of that, instead of $1,000 a month, it's $1,010 a month. So essentially what you're doing is you are wrapping new terms around the existing terms, which if you look at it from a paperwork standpoint, it just looks like a lease to own. It looks like that your mortgage payment is $1,000. You're leasing this property for $1,005 or $1,010 or $1,000.25, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then once all that's paid off and you get your down payment, all that, then the person who's making that payment can now own that property just fine. They're just leasing it until they finish paying off the mortgage. Then they own it. That's a lease to own, which is the exact same thing as a subject to. The only difference is that whole tax. Who's in charge of the taxes? Oh, here's the other thing too. On a wrap, the deed does not go in the buyer's name at closing. On a subject to, it would. On a wrap, it does not. So they don't technically own the property, which is the trigger for why this works versus a subject to. On a subject to, the buyer, the investor, they own the property, but they don't own the mortgage. And for whatever reason, online banks don't like that. On a lease to own, the owner owns the property still because the deed is still in their name, title is still in their name, but someone else is making quote unquote the mortgage payment. And then once it's paid off, then that person will own the house. For some reason, they're totally okay with that.
Okay. Got it.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Do I over explain things? Didn't I just explain the same thing 3 different times? Someone check me if I do that again. What's up, Edgar?
Hello, what's up, Sean?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What can I do
Just
for
have
you?
a quick question. I don't know if you saw my DM. I sent on Discord a DM about a house that I got into contact with the owner. They're actually a fix and flipper as well. And I wanted to see if it would be a good deal to go after. They want 50,000. Trying to pull up the address. It's in Oklahoma.
What's your name on Discord?
It is Edgar, and then let me see, Edgar E Renova 8219.
You sent me a message?
Yeah, I sent you. We last time we spoke was like 2 days ago.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, I don't see you. Did we talk on the main chat or did you DM it to me?
It was a private DM.
Okay, what's your name on Discord again? Let me look it up. I'll just search it.
Yeah, it is ERENOVA 8219.
Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah. I recognize your picture now. All right, what's up? So let's see. Can you get me an AR? You need an ARV on this property?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was accurate. They also said that it was around 130. I looked at the comp there and it was around 130. So I wanted to make sure. She said it needs like maybe 25K repairs. She wants 50K cash. The only thing I'm worried about is that Elk City, if I remember correctly, has a low population. So I'm not sure if it's something worth going after
Let me see.
for a fix and flip.
So what are you trying to get it under contract for?
The price?
Yeah, how much?
Oh, 50,000.
Okay. And then how much of a rehab does it need?
Around 20 to 25K.
How much you trying to make on it?
I was thinking anywhere from 5 to 10K.
So based off the ARV is correct. So 130, it's actually probably closer to 135, but 130 is good. For anyone who wants to follow along, I know that there are a lot of wholesale, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, so don't get sensitive. But a lot of wholesalers, when they're running their cash numbers, their formula, they do ARV times 75% minus rehab minus assignment. Some of them do ARV times 70% minus rehab minus assignment. Me and my team, we do ARV times 35% minus rehab minus assignment. That's our offer. I'm just kidding. It's 65%. So based off of which a lot of people say is like kind of rough, but I want to get deals for a good price so we can move them quick. So based off of that, I've got an MAO of 49,500. If you've got it under contract for 50, then yeah, you're good. And that's with a 10K assignment.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. I just wanted to double check. She's her situation is basically she lives in California, the house is in Oklahoma, and she was planning on fixing it herself, and she knew 50K was a good deal, so she's like, I just want to get rid of it quick, and I don't have time for it, and and I told her I'd send her an agreement later today. I'm on the road right now. I'm heading over there, so I just wanted to double check before I got on their contract.
Yeah, I agree. Your numbers are good. And your prices,
Okay.
I mean, it's $500 more than I would have got it for, which is negligible for something like this. So yeah, go for it, dude.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
No problem. Edgar, no, that was just you. You don't have another question, right? Your hand's just still up.
No, we're good. I'll take it off here.
All right. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Really? Nothing else? Okay, cool. I will probably be in Discord. What's today? Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be in Discord for the next few hours like normal. And if anyone needs me, hit me up. Please go through the cheat sheets. Oh, you know what? Let me go through. Shit, he's gonna miss it. Well, it's okay. He doesn't need it. Let me go through really quick what I posted earlier about the closer for hire for anyone who's interested. Now, full disclosure, I do this in the other Discord communities that I run for off-market deals and commercial properties, things like that. However, this is going to be new for on-market creative deals. So if I tell you, hey, it works like this, it could change. Okay, it could absolutely change. So I will keep you guys posted as best I can. And then at some point, probably Monday, there will be a full-fledged flyer outlining exactly how it's going to work. But here's how I have it now, and I am 100% open to feedback. The way that it's set up now, if you guys send me a deal for my team to dispo and you lock it up, meaning I don't have to do acquisitions, it's just dispo, then it's a 60-40 split. You guys get 60, my disposition team gets 40. That's how it goes. We'll sell your deal. For this situation, we're going to do it the other way. We're going to do a 40-60 split. And here's how that works. You're going to send out an email like you would for Deal Sniper. You're talking to a real estate agent. They start asking you stuff. They want to negotiate. You don't know what to say. They want to get on the phone. You're like, you know what? Hell with all this. I just want to have someone get on the phone, answer questions, close this thing, and then either you can sell your deal, which is fine. Then obviously it wouldn't be a 60-40 split because I'm not dispoing it. You would just pay my closer like, I don't know what, 10, 15%. But if you need us to dispo the deal also, then you would get 40% and we would get 60%. That's for us closing and for us dispoing. Please understand that we're more gearing this towards newer, like people who need it, not people who just, oh, I just don't want to close my deals. I don't want to get on the phone. That's why it's a 60-40 split. I could do 50-50. I could do 60-40 because the way this is going to be set up is my closers are not getting on the phone with the real estate agent or the seller unless it's like, hey, get on the phone, explain this, or negotiate a little bit. We're almost there, and then close it. This should be a 15-20 minute process. So you may be asking, okay, well, why are you charging 60-40? Because I don't want my team to do it. You guys can do it. You guys can absolutely do it. But for some of you who are new, maybe a little apprehensive, you want to just get that one under your belt, proof of concept sort of thing. Yeah, we'll do one for you. We'll do two for you. We're not going to be doing more than two for you. Unless it's like a weird, Sean, this is a warehouse and I've never done commercial. Okay, well then, yeah, we'll do it. But once we've done two for you and it's done, you really should be at the point where you can do it yourself. So I'm not making this super awesome for you guys to use long term because I don't want you to. I want you guys to get your own money, keep your money. You guys are capable, get it done. But we will help you. What's up, Kent?
So I was curious to know, like, if you would feel like posting up, like, out of all the deals that do get under contract, and they post about it, put up an emoji or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Out of how many of those that got under contract actually successfully got sold? Are the what's that ratio? Is it is 50% of them actually get sold? Do you even want to show that number? Is it useful to know that number? I don't know.
I think it's absolutely useful to know that number. Here's here's the problem. First of all, I've been trying to, anytime that you guys see a posting from me and at everyone, if you've closed a deal using Deal Sniper outside of my team, I want to talk to you. That's just so I can get an accurate count. I want to know exactly what you know. Here's the problem. There's a lot of, and again, I'm not talking ish on anyone. I love everyone until you're disrespectful. Then, it's a whole different story. But there are a lot of people in this space, in the wholesaling and real estate space, that when they find out you have money as a new person coming in, okay, well, now you need this program and you need to sign up for this exclusive training. And okay, now we need to get you into this. It just starts. So because of that, this culture now is when they close deals, not everyone, you guys can see it weekly in the Discord, people posting screenshots of their wire coming through, or here's my picture of my check, stuff like that. You can search that in the chat right now. But because there are so many people in there, if they don't move the deal with my team, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. And they don't, and I don't blame them. You guys don't know me. Hell, you don't even know my real name. So if I'm sitting here asking, hey, did you close that deal? To them, they may be thinking, oh, why? So you can upsell me something? Which, no, I don't want to upsell you anything. I want to know so I can track how Deal Sniper's working. So long story short, I can only give you the numbers from the deals that my team have been given with some sort of accuracy.
I just think that would be a good number for you guys to show and prove that you guys are actually selling the deals that people are bringing to you. If you're right? That would help you guys.
No, absolutely. But see, here's the thing. If you're one of those people that doesn't want anyone to know that you've got money, you just got a deal, and I say, hey, go put your name on that board. Well, I mean, you know what I mean? And then if I post the numbers, like, hey, here, like right now, I can tell you right now, my team, well, this isn't going to be 100%. There's a lot of deals that we get, and a lot of deals that we get, we reject. Yeah. Because something was underwritten wrong, or someone put a number in wrong, or they didn't check with me first. Not that you have to check with me, but if you're going to have my team push it, maybe double check with me. Hey, Sean, I'm about to sign this contract. Does this look right? Does these numbers work? Stuff like that. But out of the contracts that make it through and that we have attempted to move, we're at like 70% right now.
Nice.
Give or take, we're at about 70%.
Nice.
But that's not 70% out of the 111 or whatever deals have been posted, because there's three other people in the Discord that I know for a fact have moved probably 8 or 9 deals in the last month and a half, but I don't know who they moved them for. And if they can't tell me, oh, I moved it for Kent. I moved it for Kent. They're not going to tell me that, and they shouldn't. So it's hard for me to track, how many deals are actually getting, but I will say this, the community is growing, and I see screenshots of people posting, their commission or their assignment hitting their bank account. I don't get a lot of complaints. We have a very low cancellation rate.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So it's working.
How many members are you at now?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask Calvin. He does that. Okay. He does that. I do this.
You guys went up pretty quick, like real fast.
I think that's because, well, no, I like to think that that's because
word of mouth.
No. Well, it could be. I don't know how many people in here know someone who brought them into this, but I will tell you the feedback that I get, because I ask a lot of questions. I am a naturally curious person. And the feedback that we've been getting, even Calvin, even the other guy that works for us, works with us, that you guys don't even know who that is yet. The feedback seems to be the biggest asset, other than the Deal Sniper platform itself, is the Discord community.
Exactly. Well,
I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm not the only one that answers questions in the Discord community. So the biggest asset right now seems to be the Discord community, on top of obviously the platform itself. And I think that's great, because the only thing I give a damn about is you guys making money. I want the most important thing in the world. It's not money. It's options. And the only way you get options is to have money or resources. So I want everyone to just have options. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing else. If you guys, I love the fact that my channel gets a lot of subscriptions and comments and watch time. That's cool. Like, I've never done it before. That's cool. I don't care. Like, if you guys enjoy the content, leave me a like, leave me a subscribe. Great. If you don't, did you learn something? Are you going to go make some money? Okay, good. Mission accomplished. I don't care.
You say you have other Discords. Are they focused on other parts of real estate, or are they just more of the same but different groups?
No, I have one that's commercial real estate, like warehouses, strip malls, things like that. And then I have one that's primarily off market.
Is that like, open, free to join too?
No. They all have stuff that, you know what? There is one of them that you could join, but to be honest, if you're in, look, the way that I answer you guys in the Deal Sniper Discord is the way that I answer questions in all the other ones. So there really wouldn't be that much of a benefit for you to pay for another one. Anything that is taught in one, if you want to know, if you ask, I'll teach you. Doesn't matter what Discord you're in, I don't care. So, I mean, it would just be a waste of money to sign up for both just because I'm in it. I answer questions all day for all of them.
Right.
And then anything you guys need to know, I'll just, like, for example, I can't remember who it was, but someone had said, hey, I'd like to do off-market cash deals. But this was in the Deal Sniper community. If he was in the other community, he could see all those resources, but he can't. So I just made him a quick 5-video series of how to do cash off-market deals. So I'll give you guys the material. You just got to tell me what you want. Oh, shit. Amber, what's up? You had your hand up for probably a hot minute. What's going on?
No, it's okay. It's real quick. If it's a cash offer, no, I'm sorry. Yep, no, that's right. If it's a cash offer, is it still going to be the same closing terms? Like closing costs going to be covered, close under 30 days? Okay, that's all I have.
The close under 30 days, just make sure, I would word it on or before 30 days. We will close on or before 30 days from when the contract is signed.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah,
thank you.
everything else is the same. We'll cover closing costs because it's the buyer. Is it on market?
It is.
Be careful with the price and watch out for realtor commissions because that's obviously going to get added to the price.
Well, I kind of asked you about this one before. Just to kind of quick summarize, it's listed. There's a mortgage, and the realtor, I guess, really just kind of wants to see what can be done with the property. He's asked me countless times. Sub 2 doesn't work. Obviously, seller finance isn't going to work. So I was just going to go ahead and do a cash offer. And I made a point to say I've been holding off because I didn't want to insult you or your seller. But if we could do a cash deal, this would be the offer. And I just wanted to make sure that my term, thank you. I wanted to make sure that my terms flowed.
There you go. Yeah, you're good. Everything is the same. We'll cover closing costs. We'll do all that. And then as far as your delivery, yeah, that was great. I don't shoot the messenger, Mr. Seller, Mr. Realtor.
Right.
I have a computer system that spits this out. I didn't do it.
Right.
If I can give you more money, I would. I can't.
I can't. And then what about EMD? Is it still that $1,000? Is it?
If it's on market, yeah, you can do 1,000. What's the purchase price? Or what is it? What is your purchase price going to be for cash?
It's going to be $165.
Yeah, you can do $1,000.
Okay.
Up to 3, and it's fine. Anything more than 3 for that's a little much.
Okay, understandably so. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, we don't remember which tangent we were on. So does anybody else have any questions? All right, cool. Then I will let you guys go. I will give you guys the rest of the information on the closer for hire. Like I said, there will be a flyer. I'll put it in the announcement section, but that's probably how we're going to do it, unless it's absurdly easy for my team to get these deals closed and signed. Then I may adjust the percentage to just 50-50. But again, It's not supposed to be something that seems good. I don't want you guys to rely on this system. I want you guys to study the quick question guide. I want you guys to study the cheat sheet, cultivate your own responses when realtors say these things, so you can craft your own spiel, your own pitch. There's nothing my team can do that you guys can't do. The only reason it seems that way is because they've been doing it longer. But the common thing is they were taught by me. You guys are getting taught by me. All you got to do is do what I say, within reason. I'm not Slender Man or anything like that. All right, cool. I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a great night. I will be in the Discord for the next few hours if you need anything else. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Sean.
No problem.